Hey, you know how Trump pretends like he's a Christian and this man of faith, and then a bunch of Republicans lie right in our eyes and say they believe him, and it's all just a strange phenomenon? Well, I have an interesting thing to share with you. As you know, today, as of when I'm recording this, is Easter, a really big day for Christians. And so devoted Christian Donald Trump is spending it as normal people do, which is to spend time with family. If, you know, there are kids around, maybe you do an Easter egg hunt, you celebrate the resurrection, you maybe discuss your faith, whatever. Okay. You have a good, holy, family-oriented sort of day. And that's exactly what Trump... Oh, nope, never mind. He spent the entire day so far ranting on Truth Social like a madman. And I have a few different examples of that to walk through. I'll put up next to me, right here, just a screen scrolling through his Truth Social feed. And when it stops, when it goes off the screen, that means we finally got to the end of the last 24 hours, okay? Just the last 24 hours of posts. Truths, as they're called, or retruths. Very original idea. And it's just scrolling, 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 scrolling. I'll read some examples, but I'll just keep scrolling until it gets to the end. I don't know what's going on with him. An unwell person. Here's Mediaite, then I'll read the first example. Donald Trump was very busy on Easter morning. At church, on frantic social media bender. Posting and reposting grievances to his Truth Social account dozens and dozens of times. Before noon Eastern time, the former president had populated his account with 43 additional truths and retruths. And it's gone way past that now, obviously, because that was just noon. Up into the 70s, potentially 80s. Maybe it's past 100 at this point. To give him credit, he did write in all caps, "Happy Easter." But then he had a longer message later on in the day. "Happy Easter to all," he says. Oh, isn't that so sweet? Including, oh no, where are we going, Don? "Crooked and corrupt prosecutors and judges that are doing everything possible to interfere with the presidential election of 2024 and put me in prison, including those many people that I completely and totally despise because they want to destroy America." Jesus. And now failing nation like deranged Jack Smith, who is evil and sick, Mrs. Fani Wade, okay, yeah, who said she hardly knew the special prosecutor, only to find that he spent years loving her, just good child, long before the Georgia prosecution, that's not what the hearings found, of President Trump began, and thereby making the case against me null, void, and illegal. Yes. Fani Willis's romantic relationship has to do with and invalidates Trump's potential crimes. I'm not getting the math on that one, to be honest with you. Trump didn't try to block the peaceful transfer of power through allegedly illegal schemes because Fani Willis had a boyfriend. Okay. And lazy on violent crime, Trump continues. Alvin Bragg, who with Crooked Joe's DOJ thugs unfairly working in the DA's office, illegally indicted me. Nope. On a case he never wanted to bring, and virtually all legal scholars say is a case that should not be brought. He's breaking the law, and doing so is turned down by all other law enforcement authorities and is not a crime. Happy Easter, everyone. We'll see if it's not a crime at the trial on April 15th. Now, that was his Easter message. Okay? Happy Easter in one post, then Happy Easter to all the people I despise, and listing off all of his normal grievances. He also wrote in a message, "Never forget our cowards and weaklings, such a disgrace," referring to Mike Gallagher, the Republican congressman who's leaving Congress early because he's so sick of the dysfunction. And then, of course, he's been going after, in a deranged way, the judges overseeing his cases. Here he rants about Judge Engoron, things we've heard a million times. Then he says, "I did nothing wrong and New York should never be put in a position like this again. Businesses are fleeing, violent crime is flourishing, and it is very important that this be resolved in its totality as soon as possible. Thank you." And we just talked about in a past segment, so I won't do it again, the distortions coming from the right wing about violent crime. Here he says Judge Goran Elise James should be forced to explain why he ruled that Mar-a-Lago was worth $18 million when in fact it is worth from 50 to 100 times that amount. It's worth $3 gazillion and we all know it, is how he really wants to be able to say that. And then he's been going after Judge Mershon, who's overseeing his hush money payment case. That trial starting very soon, and Trump has been going after the daughter, posting a photo. Obviously I'm not going to show it, but posting a photo recently of the daughter and going after her, and of course the judge himself. And here he says that Judge sanctioned and recused in this fake case, only kept alive by the highly conflicted judge, should be completely dismissed right away. There's no case, there's no crime, etc., etc. And I want to show you on that topic, Trump attacking the daughter of a judge overseeing one of his cases. I'm going to really quickly pause your viewing of this video to ask you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just click that subscribe button plus the like button as well, and the alert bell so you get notifications. Back to it. Nicole Wallace, who had a very relatable reaction and made some great points to this.
So, you know, it's time to do something different. Like, we're not going to have this conversation again. I have come on the air with breaking news about requests for gag orders because of threats for judges and their kids more times than I could count today before I got ready. And Judge Ludig, I think it's time. I don't know who has to write the banners at the bottom of my show. I'm sorry in advance. But Donald Trump broke the rule of law. We should cover a broken judiciary in this country. Donald Trump managed to delay every federal criminal trial based on facts that he barely denies. Donald Trump managed to enlist the Supreme Court in a delay process, the highest court in the land. Donald Trump brazenly and repeatedly attacks not just judges, and I've had the privilege of sitting across not just from you, Judge Ludig, but from Judge Esther Salas, whose son was assassinated by a crazy person. Judges don't have Secret Service protecting them. They don't even always have, I mean, her child answered the door. What are we going to do different? Because Donald Trump sure as hell isn't changing.
Yeah, and we have talked about this before. We covered that clip on the bonus show, lukebeaslyshow.com/membership to get it. And it's another example of Trump is indeed experiencing a two-tier justice system to his benefit. People who are powerful and influential like him get treated lighter, softer, get more slack than someone who's not named Donald Trump. And so here, if you or I were acting as erratically and dangerously as Donald Trump, and we're sending out to a massive audience of people the types of attacks he sends out, and photographs of the family members of judges, and in previous stories we've talked about linking to articles that have the address of prosecutors in it, and that sort of behavior would get a much more aggressive reaction from a court if it were someone else. But Donald Trump is benefiting from the fact that powerful, influential people with his status get treated differently. And then we continue forward. Here I'll read some reporting. The Washington Post: former President Donald Trump disseminated on social media on Friday an image of President Biden with his hands and feet tied. The latest example of the Republican candidate's use of increasingly violent rhetoric and imagery this campaign season. You'll see the photo up next to me. It's a video actually that was posted by Donald Trump of pro-Trump trucks driving, and the camera slowly zooms in on one of the trucks, and on the back of the truck there's an image that's supposed to make it look like Joe Biden's bound, being kidnapped, and in the bed of the truck. And that's what Trump is bolstering and celebrating, and it's disgusting and dangerous. Then, and by the way, and you wonder why people were concerned when he used bloodbath and weren't exactly ready to give him the benefit of the doubt. Stuff like this, I have to tell you, Midas Touch reports. But among the cesspool of deplorality, Trump made two posts attaching an article in Gateway Pundit and American Thinker. And in this sickening article, Root makes the case that Trump is a true miracle sent by God to save America. This is being sent out on Easter. That Trump is the chosen one sent by God and blessed by God. Do you believe in miracles, this article writes? It's time to start believing. What's happening is supernatural. Everyone's starting to see it. Everyone's starting to believe. The signs are there. Trump is the chosen one. Trump is sent by God and blessed by God. He is the chosen one. And that's what Trump is sending out on Easter. So that's what Donald Trump was up to on Easter. Again, not exactly what you'd think someone who's as Christian as him, he says, would be up to on this special day, but it is. And he is clearly panicking. He is clearly unwell, detached from reality, and in a pretty dangerous headspace for sure. Please make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel.